for the first time in 1995. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln as we welcome you on the New Year's first edition of the Racehorse Digest on ESPN on our new day, Wednesday. Now, every week we'll be here to review the best in horse racing. That includes thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and harness racing. Well, let's begin with some good news, and here's something different in sports today. No strike. That's right. The threatened walkout on January 1st by the nation's leading jockeys as part of the National Jockey Guild was averted last Friday, as the Jockeys Guild and the Thoroughbred Racing Association member tracks agreed in principle to a new 3-year contract. The agreement calls the TRA to double accident coverage to $100,000, make disability payments to $200 a week, along with increasing accidental death to $25,000. The TRA will also maintain its annual payment of $1.7 million to the Guild to fund those benefits in exchange for the jockeys' media rights. Now, earlier we talked with the Jockeys Guild General Manager John Giovanni. We asked him if he was pleased with the new contract that seems to fall far short of their original goals.
Well, first of all, Chris, we're happy that we were able to avoid a situation that I don't think anybody would have been the winner from. I think racing would have been the loser. No, we didn't get everything that we had asked for, but we did make some significant gains. We have doubled the on-track accident coverage, the weekly disability to the jockeys, and we have an opportunity to work with the Hearst proposal to see what type of funds that might generate.
And, John, it does seem clear that this really is not the end, but the beginning for a new contract, a new 3-year deal.
Well, it is a beginning. As I said, it is a step in the right direction. I don't believe that it's really a long-term solution to this problem, but we have 3 years to try to find a solution, and hopefully we can do that.
And what about the media rights of the jockeys?
Well, as far as the media rights are concerned, we gave no ground. We lost no ground. We feel that the jockeys have rights. We've been trading them since 1968. And basically, the issue of rights, be it jockeys' rights or owners' rights, I think will ultimately be adjudicated in the courts.
Well, the Hearst proposal that John Giovanni made reference to was proposed by executive columnist, the Daily Racing Forum, Joe Hearst, to add an extra race at every racetrack across America, with the money from that going to help offset some of the jockeys' high insurance costs. So with no jockey strike, it's time to get to the races. Let's start in Southern California. Monday's feature race there at Santa Anita for older thoroughbreds on the turf. The $100,000 added San Gabriel Handicap. Even though it is on the grass, the San Gabriel has been a stepping stone for some hoping to go on to the March 11th Santa Anita Handicap. That includes the even money favorite in this race, Romarin. Here's the call with Trevor Denman.
Homeward bound, and Romarin is finding more out here. He pins his ears, sticks his neck out, and Romarin keeps on finding. Saltgrass, Iono Mammy, and Inner City chasing him home. But it's Romarin, Inner City catching slowly, but Romarin is all hot on the lead. And Romarin has won again. He wins the San Gabriel from Inner City and Iono Mammy.
The Richard Mandela-trained Romarin gets his 3rd win in as many starts here in the U.S. and 8th in 13 career outings for his Brazilian owner, Leonel Eduardo de Paula Machado. Mandela says he will now consider sending this 5-year-old son of Itara to the March Santa Anita Handicap, where he could be part of the Big Cap's most memorable field. It just may include the likely 1994 Horse of the Year, Holy Bull, in his West Coast debut. The day after Christmas, opening day at Santa Anita, featured the first leg of the Arcadia Track Stroob Series, the $100,000 added Malibu Stakes. Favorite here at 6-5, the Gary Jones-trained Ferrara.
3/8 to go, and Ferrara's looking very solid out here. He's on a long rein, just ambling along with his ears cocked. It's Ferrara, 3 parts of a length. Uncaged Fury second. Now Powys Castle comes to take on the leader, then Numerous. Top of the lane, and Powys Castle kicks through on the inside of Ferrara. These two swing for home together. Through the lane they come into Malibu. Ferrara on the outside. Powys Castle very tough at the rail. Powers Castle, Ferrara come through the lane together. Powers Castle finding more under Pat Valenzuela's going to outrun Ferrara. They hit the wire, and Powers Castle has beaten Ferrara. Numerous was 3rd.
The long shot, Barry Gordy's Powers Castle, an 8th place finisher in the 1994 Kentucky Derby, shortens up to 7 furlongs and wins by half a length under jockey Pat Valenzuela in the Malibu. The time of 1:20 and 4, less than a second off the stakes record. The result convinced trainer Rodney Rash that this rare brick colt is a sprinter, so it's not likely you'll see him again in any more route races. Powell's Castle, big win at Santa Anita. Well, last Wednesday at Santa Anita, 3-year-old fillies who've since turned 4 with the new year were featured in the 7-furlong, $100,000 added La Brea Stakes. Del Mar Oaks winner Twice the Vice picked here at even money, despite the presence of 93 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Champion filly Phone Chatter.
At the top of the lane, Classic Kim the leader to Shapely Scrapper. Twice the Vice down at the rail. Top Rung coming home on the grandstand side. Phone Chatter's got a lot to do. They come for home. Classic Kim, Twice the Vice battling at the rail. Top Rung on the grandstand side's coming flying. Top Rung on the outside and Classic Kim. Top Rung catching 30 yards to go. Top Rung, Classic King. Top Rung got up to beat Classic Kim. Twice the Vice was third.
From Leonard Lavin, the same owner who bought us the 43-1 Breeders' Cup Distaff upset winner One Dreamer, comes this 9-1 long shot named Top Rung. The daughter of Seattle Slew has only made 6 career starts, but has won 3 of them for Lavin, trainer Willard Proctor, and Top Rung ridden here by jockey Gary Stevens. On December 31st, Vern Winchel's Del Mar debutante winner Call Now returned to the winner's circle after missing the Breeders' Cup due to illness. She wired this field in the New Year's Eve Pasadena Stakes at 6 furlongs. To start, the first in more than 2 months for Call Now, the daughter of Wild Again out of Carol's Christmas. Call Now has now won 3 and placed in 2 of her 5 career starts for trainer Ron McAnally, earning more than $249,000 for her connections. She was ridden in the Pasadena by Alex Solis. From Santa Anita, let's head north now to the San Francisco Bay Area and Bay Meadows, the 31st running of the California Juvenile Stakes in a mile. The 1-2 favorite here was Valid Wager, who came to this race off a second-place finish in the Hollywood Preview for the impressive Afternoon Delights. Again, here's the call of the California Juvenile at Bay Meadows.
They swing for home, and up goes Valid Wager. He blows by Sluker. Hoedown Be Good is next, then it's Jumron. Rocky T out of it, Funny Tail running on. 8th pole, Valid Wager. But Jumron is closing well on the outside. He has a length and a half to make up. Valid Wager holding on from Jumron, who is flying. Valid Wager looking for the line. Jumron, Valid Wager held on from Jumron. Funny Tail there.
A tired Valid Wager makes his first trip around 2 turns, a winning one here in the California Juvenile, covering the 8 furlongs in 136-1 under jockey Martin Pedrosa. Pedrosa said the colt spent most of his energy in a bumping match that took quite a bit out of him. Still, he's a winner, and that's good news for trainer Mike Malika and owners Robert and Beverly Lewis, who also own star filly Serena's Song and co-own Timber Country, a trio of 3-year-olds with some promising futures. Well, a sloppy track at Bay Meadows on the New Year's Eve for the $100,000 William P. Kine handicap. It's 3-year-olds and up, going 1 1/8 miles. The off-track definitely to the liking of the eventual winner on the lead here, Nancy's French Fry, drawing off in the stretch under a jockey Russell Bays to post a 14-length victory over the favorites Slew of Damascus and second choice Sea Cadet, who came home 4th and 5th respectively in the 5-horse field. It was announced right after this race that Sea Cadet will now be retired. The William P. Kine, the first greatest stakes win for Nancy's French Fry, has won 4 of his last 6 starts. The former claimer will now be appointed for the February 21st San Antonio Handicap down south at Santa Anita. The trainer Vladimir Sarin hopes it will be muddy. The Racehorse Digest is brought to you by the Breeders' Cup, racing's year-round national stakes program. The American Quarter Horse Association, serving the American quarter horse racing industry and America's horse. And by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round.
Take 7 races at 7 racetracks. And what do you get? The National Best 7, Thoroughbred Racing's exciting new wager, and nobody's got it covered like daily racing form. Inside each special edition, you'll find the facts, figures, and focus you need to pick the winners. Complete, accurate, and available on newsstands 24 hours before the races. The National Best 7 edition is simply the best information you can get. Give the National Best 7 your best shot. Buy a copy today. Come Come to New Orleans for another great season of thoroughbred racing at the fairgrounds. This season, Fairgrounds presents 88 action-packed days of racing with average daily purses of $165,000. From Thanksgiving Day through March 27th, Fairgrounds hosts 57 stakes races with total purses of more than $3.5 million. In March, it's the Spring Festival of Racing, highlighted by the $300,000 Louisiana Derby for 3-year-olds March 19th. Catch all the thoroughbred excitement this season at the fairgrounds.
Discover the advantage for thoroughbred racing in Illinois. When you invest in thoroughbred racing in Illinois, you can share in the richest thoroughbred awards program in the country. To learn more about the Illinois Advantage, contact the Illinois Department of Agriculture today.
Racing fans, get inside the exciting world of harness racing. Subscribe to Hoofbeats. Each month, Hoofbeats brings you inside news and features on leading horses, drivers, and trainers. Plus, exciting background on major races and the lore of the standardbred. Act now. Call 1-800-779-7788. For only $30, you get 12 action-packed issues of Hoofbeats and an insider's view of America's sport. Get into harness racing. Call for your subscription to Hoofbeats today.
We begin the new year in harness racing by looking back and honoring some of the sport's stars from 1994. Let's join our regular host of our Harness Racing Weekly Report, Dave Johnson.
Happy New Year! The Meadowlands opened its doors again for harness racing on December 26th. And this week, we'll ring in the new year at the sport's premier track. But before we celebrate the coming of 1995, we're going to celebrate some of 1994's top performers and bring you up to speed on some late-season equine news. Trainer Bill Robinson again dominated the sport in 1994 after becoming the first trainer in harness racing history whose stable earned $10 million in a single season. Robinson shattered his 1993 record by topping the $13 million mark in 1994, thanks in large part to Harness Horse of the Year Cam's Card Shark. Robinson may have set records, but he was not 1994 Trainer of the Year. That honor went to one of the sport's finest gentlemen, Carl Allen. Allen not only owned, bred, and trained the 2-year-old champion trotting filly CRK Susie, here seen winning the Mary Annabelle, he also had the champion 2-year-old pacing filly, CR Daniela. No other driver in harness racing history has ever dominated the sport like John Campbell. The only driver ever to reach the $100 million mark in career earnings, Campbell in '94 won purses totaling $9.7 million. It was the 11th time in his career that he's led all drivers in earnings. Last year was a momentous one for Dave McGee. Here on February 13th at Hawthorne, he entered the exclusive 6,000 win club. And he ended the season leading all drivers in wins with a career-high 630. It was the first time McGee has ever led the national standings in wins, and the first time a Chicago driver has done so since Darrell Busey. That was back in 1975. Each year, the U.S. Harness Riders Association honors its rising star. And for '94, it was Jack Baggett Jr., who's been around but who enjoyed a breakthrough season last year. The 32-year-old driver topped $1 million in earnings for the first time, thanks to some big stakes wins, including this tally in the Mistletoe Chalet with 3-year-old pacing filly, Lachine. One of harness racing's iron horse records was broken in '94 when the 11-year-old pacer Sharp Cosmos eclipsed the immortal Rambling Willie's record of 79 career victories in 2 minutes or faster. The record came here on December 10th at the Meadows. With mandatory retirement facing all 14-year-old horses on January 1st, Pompano Harness held retirement ceremonies on December 28th for the Dream of Glory gelding Providence. The veteran raced 239 times in his career and retired with 68 wins and nearly $185,000 in earnings. Providence will spend a life of leisure now on owner Ed Rudner's Florida farm. 1995 marks the Meadowlands' 20th harness season, And on December 31st, the New Jersey track rang in the new year with the finest older pacers in training in a $35,000 invitational pace. The 2-to-1 favorite was Lotta Soul, who beat Largo by a length in 1:53 3/5. It should come as no surprise that trainer Bill Robinson closed out 1994 with a victory, as Lotta Soul won for the 10th time in 31 starts.
When we come back, we'll get back to the Thoroughbred tracks, the final session of Tropical at Calder and the first big derby for the newly turned 3-year-olds.
Vinny Pazienza, Roberto Duran. Two of boxing's greatest warriors will put their pride on the line in a much-anticipated rematch. In their first meeting, Pazienza staged a dramatic late rally to win a controversial decision. Duran has a score to settle with Pazienza. Put simply, it's a matter of pride.
Hi, I'm Tom Pipkin, sophomore at Duquesne University. Did you know that every 2 days, guns kill enough young people to fill classrooms? Did you know that murder is the second leading cause of death in people 16 to 25 in this country? We need less bullets and more brains. Help keep rivalries on the court where they belong. Don't be afraid to stand up, be heard, and make a commitment for peace. Enough is enough.
Interference. Board checking. Same rules, different league. Tomorrow at 8:30, the IHL rules on ESPN 2.
We return to the Thoroughbreds now as we go to South Florida for some of the highlights from the final week of the Tropical Park meeting at Calder Racecourse. And it begins the closing day feature, one that traditionally starts the road to the Triple Crown, the 20th running of the $100,000 Tropical Park Derby. Favorite in this 1 1/8 race on the turf at 7-5, Darley Stud's Claudius.
There's less than a quarter of a mile to go in the Tropical Park Derby. With the lead, it's Val's Prince, a short one. On the inside, that's Dan's Bet. Here comes Mecky on the far outside. Between horses, Diplomatic Jet. They're in the final furlong. Mecky on the outside with the lead. Val's Prince still fighting it out. They're in deep stretch, and now Mecky starts to edge out. Val's Prince is second on the outside. Claudius gets up for the show.
Mecky, the winner of a division of the Florida Stallion Stakes last year, comes home 3/4 of a length in front here under Herb Castillo Jr., grabbing the first graded win of his career for owner James Lewis and trainer Manny Tortora. Behind him came the 42-1 Val's Prince, while favorite Claudius was third. Mecky is by modeling out a beautiful bid. Has now won over $240,000 in his 11-race career. Well, Claudius was the favorite in the Tropical Park Derby, and on Saturday, the Claude Shook-McGahee train, Educated Risk was sent off as the 1-5 favorite in the 7-furlong Virginia Handicap. It's fillies and mares, and she did not disappoint. Romping here under Mike Smith to a 10-length victory, the time 1:23 flat. To win the third straight for the now 5-year-old daughter of Mr. Prospector. Educated Risk, owned by Ogden Mills Phipps, who plans to retire the mare this spring for breeding, but not before she goes over the $1 million mark in earnings. Right now, she's about $17,000 away from the 7-figure mark, which means she'll have at least one more start. Halo's Image and Gary Boulanger, wire-to-wire winners of last week's $100,000 Tropical Park Handicap for 3-year-olds and up, going 1 1/8. The Happy Alta trainee seems to have recovered from the sore shins that sidelined him this past summer. He was able to resist Fight for Love's efforts, prevailing here by a length. Halo's Image, co-owned by Alter and Arthur Appleton, who jointly bred the son of Halo out of Sugar's Image. Alter says the colt will have one more prep before going to the February Dawn Handicap at Gulfstream, where Alter is hoping to meet up with Holy Bull. One more to show you now from Calder Racecourse. This a race from Christmas Eve. The $100,000 newly renamed Kenny No Jr. Handicap. It's for 3-year-olds and up, sprinting 7 furlongs. Featured here is the even money choice, a familiar name, Bird on the Wire.
On the outside, taking over the lead, that is Honest Colors. Fortunate Joe is second. Dalhart has dropped back. Then it's Distinct Reality, DJ Cat, Bird on the Wire on the far outside. Then it's Crafty Chris. They turn from Honest Colors, a short lead. Fortunate Joe is right there second. Here comes Bird on the Wire, storming down the middle of the racetrack, and Bird on the Wire takes the lead and starts to pull clear. On the inside, Fortunate Joe is now second. Honest Colors back to third. They come to the wire. It's Bird on the Wire in front.
Bird on the Wire, the 1993 Vosburg Stakes winner, finally gets back into the winner's circle after a rough 1994. Winning the Kenny No by 5 1/4 lengths under jockey Craig Perrette. The time, 1:23.3. And Phil Surfy conditions the 5-year-old son of Proud Birdie out of Silk and Wrapper. Surfy says Bird on the Wire was seriously ill last winter and just now appears to be getting back to his old form. Our first Breeders' Cup Horse of the Week opened the new year in New York at Aqueduct. The Grade 3 $100,000 added Interboro Breeders' Cup Handicap. The fillies and mares sprinting 6 furlongs. Lots of Talk was the winner here. This is the first of 175 Breeders' Cup Premium and Special Stakes races. The Breeders' Cup Limited is allocated up to $6.4 million for in the series in '95. In this premium stakes race at Aqueduct, Lots of Talk in the outside in the green silks, ridden by Diane Nelson. Overcomes a bad start, then 6 wide turning for home, and will come on here on the outside to get up by a neck. Lots of Talk, a 5-year-old mare owned by Vincent McGuire, Conrad Eckert, and Charles Warner, trained by Tim Kelly. Take a look again as this bay daughter of Talk out of Antilessa, bred in New York by KVC Stable, runs him down at the end. Winning her 9th career race, Lots of Talk earned $65,235,000, $15,000 from the Breeders' Cup funds.
Brookside Farm Stallion Theatrical has now moved to the head of the class in Japan. Theatrical's 3-year-old daughter, Hishi Amazon, defeated a field of 18 in Japan's Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Commemorative Cup. A champion at 2, Hishi Amazon was even better at 3, with 6 graded stakes victories and a second in 7 starts in 1994. Her earnings of more than $4 million makes her the leading money-winning filly represented by a U.S.-based stallion. And that stallion is Brookside Farms Theatrical.
Where in the world would you go if there were no Las Vegas? Where you can see new resorts and attractions you've never seen anywhere before. You'd have to travel to the future and the past. And the only other place you'd find excitement like this is your own imagination. Only in Las Vegas.
I'm too sick to go in.
So take Dayquil.
My headache.
So take Dayquil.
This won't help my cough.
Nope.
Take Vicks Dayquil, the non-drowsy stuffy head, congested chest, sore throat, coughing, fever, so you can face your day medicine.
When you follow the races this winter, follow the best at Gulfstream Park. Watch nationally acclaimed stars produce the ultimate in thoroughbred racing excitement at Gulfstream January 4th through March 16th. 108 national champions have been a part of great winter racing at Gulfstream in the past, and this year promises to be the best ever. If you can't go to Gulfstream, you can watch Gulfstream Championship racing at a track near you. For schedules and post times, call your local racetrack or simulcast facility.
It's time now for the fastest of all the equine breeds, the American Quarter Horse. And before we get into quarter horse racing in 1995, let's catch up on some of the final races of last year. Races which sometimes Ken point out horses to watch for in the new year. The $30,000 Breeders' Classic Distaff at Los Alamitos in Southern California was just such a race, featuring the first West Coast success for I'm a Killer Y'all, who previously been a terror in Texas.
Underway they go. And coming away with the leaders was the Pie Policy, Angry Angel down along the inside, and First Ladies first, even 6 first call. And I May Killer Y'all's now looking dangerous on the outside with Sticky and Picky. I May Killer Y'all's coming on fast. First down Dina down along the inside, and Angry Angel, I May Killer Y'all, and first down Dina, and Sticky and Picky in the Breeders' Distaff.
I'm a Killer Y'all and jockey Alvin Brosette take the Breeders' Classic Distaff over the long shots. First down, Dinah, and Sig's first down. I'm a Killer Y'all will be 6 years old when she races again. Finished the old year with 4 wins and 6 starts. The daughter of By Y'all is owned by the Victory Quest Farm, trained by Heath Taylor. A potential star in the age division also emerged at the end of last year. The late developing Flashback Dash scored impressively here in the $100,000 Dash for Cash Derby.
And away they go in the Dash for Cash Derby. Rainbow Sun came away well from the outside. That is also Jumping Tack Flash. Now moving up on the inside is the Money Crunch. Also racing between horses, Flashback Dash. Bury me also right there. It's Flashback Dash with the lead. Flashback Dash and Jumping Tack Flash.
Flashes and dashes indeed as Flashback Dash and Henry Garcia get the best of the talented but unpredictable Jumping Tack Flash. This son of Streak in 6 is owned by Myrna Rudisil, trained by Quarter Horse Racing's all-time leading trainer Blaine Schwanebelt. Flashback Dash gave every indication that his first stakes win would certainly not be his last. Meanwhile, in New Mexico, an impressive win streak continued right to the end of 1994. Watch number 8, Pie's Royal Request, as he goes for a 10th straight victory here at Sunland Park outside El Paso.
There they go. In the Sunland Park Fall Quarter Horse Derby, Ducky Fred on the inside, got away smoothly. Lenace's 6 is right there. On the outside, Streakingly is showing speed and Slick Ace. It's Ducky Fred on the inside with Lenace's 6 and Pie's Royal Request. Pie's Royal Request now up on the outside to take the lead in Slick Ace. Pie's Royal Request and Ducky Fred. Pie's Royal Request wins 10 in a row.
And Pie's Royal Request, who had done most of his damage in Arizona, conquers a good group here at Sunland Park to win by half a length and stretch 1994's longest winning streak in quarter horse racing to 10. The son of Pie in the Sky has now been victorious in 16 of 22 lifetime starts. Will likely be looking for bigger game in 95. Pie's Royal Request is owned by Howard and Wanda Lannis, trained by Wayne Brasher, and ridden by his regular jockey, Larry Gomez. For more information on quarter horse racing, call the American Quarter Horse Association at 1-800-414-RIDE.
Last year, America's fastest athlete raced at more than 100 tracks in North America for some $50 million in purses. Get in on the action of owning your very own Racing American quarter horse. Call 1-800-414-RIDE to receive a free guide to owning America's fastest athlete. Discover how easy it is to buy at auction, claim a racehorse, choose a trainer, determine cost, and much more. 1-800-414-RIDE is your ticket to owning and racing America's fastest athlete.
The Royal Broodmares of Hawaii's Princess Abigail Kawananakoa have now produced 3 $1 million quarter horse winners. The 1994 All-American Futurity winner, Noblesse 6, is the foal of the princess's mare, Native Noblesse. In 1993, the All-American's $1 million first-place check was won by her own colt, a classic dash, out of the mare Classic Canyon. And the multiple stakes-winning producer Trippy Dip is the dam of the champion Florentine, who earned over $1.2 million, including 7 Grade 1 victories. The Royal Broodmares of Princess Kawananakoa.
Pick up the phone for the latest sports news from ESPN all day, every day.
95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-996-ESPN.
The racing scene in South Florida switched to Gulfstream Park this Wednesday, the start of their 63-day meeting. It features 39 stakes, worth a Florida record of more than $4.6 million. Post time at the Hallandale, Florida track, 1 p.m. The track closed on Tuesdays. Alan Paulson has retired Eliza, the Eclipse Award-winning 2-year-old champion filly of 1992. She leaves the track with just over $1 million in earnings as she joins Paulson's broodmare band at Brookside Farm in Kentucky. And racing's National Best 7 will be conducted this Saturday, and you can see all the action on ESPN2, this week delayed until Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern. And we'll see you back here next week on the Digest New Day Wednesday on ESPN. Until then, good luck at the races. The Racehorse Digest has been brought to you by the United States Trotting Association, leading the way in harness racing, and by Brookside Farms. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winner Communications.